Hi YouTube, it's Natural CC and I'm back in again with a new book review. This time I'm going to review the book series by Susan Elizabeth Phillips. It's called the Chicago Star series. You may or may not be familiar with this series. This series came out mid-90s to early 2000 and just recently I just found out she came with a new book. But first I'm going to review the old books and maybe later in the future I will review the recent book she came out with. But first I want to talk about how I came across of this series. So I was on a site and I just was scrolling out different books because my genre is romantic. I love romantic books, so I was just scrolling through a few websites to search for a new romantic book to read. And I came with the fourth book, Nobody's Baby But Mine, but the translated version because it's been translated in Dutch, and in Dutch it's called Baby Baby. So I have the physical book here. I read this I think in a day and I really enjoyed the book, so I was searching for other books she came out with, and she had another one, and it's called Natural Born Charmer, but in Dutch it's called Devil's Date or Devil's Date. So these are the only two physical translated books from Susan Elizabeth Phillips. The rest are all in English, so I thought maybe I should read it in English. I can read in English, so I bought the book through iBooks. And it cost me around 3 to 4 euros. I mean, these books are, as I said, these books came out in the 90s, so they're not really expensive books, and iBooks are obviously cheaper than the physical books. So I bought all the series from the Chicago Star. There are 8 total series of the Chicago Star. Mine is the recent one because I just found out she came with a new one. To talk short about each of these books, so I'm going to start with the first one. I have a note here because it's been a while since I read this series. It's been at least a year that I read this series, and I do come back from some books. I mean, it's been a while I read this series. It's been a year, but I do from time to time go back to some of these books. I do read from time to time Nobody's Baby But Mine, or sometimes Heaven Texas, or the first one, It Had to Be You. And talk about It Had to Be You, I'm just going to tell you in short what it's about. It Had to Be You is the first book of the Chicago Star series. It follows the story about Dan Calabow, the coach of the Chicago Stars, and Phoebe Somerville. Phoebe Somerville's father was owned the Chicago Stars, but he passed away and Phoebe Somerville inherits it. And in the will it said if she doesn't make sure that the Chicago Stars win the Super Bowl, then the team goes to her nephew, Reed Somerville. No, it's not Reed Somerville, he has another last name, but I know that the nephew's name is Reed. So the story is about how Phoebe and Dan come together. Phoebe is a strong-willed woman who knows how to use her body. The book says she has a really curvy body, and she knows how to make men, how to seduce men. And then Talbot doesn't really fall for that trick, but as you go read the story, you know why Phoebe acts that way, and you see how beautiful they come together. And I think in the last few chapters it really gets really excited. I was searching for the word excited what happens, because Reed does something in that book and you'll be shocked, and then the end will be so much. I mean, just because you know what Reed has done, you will appreciate Phoebe more as a character. But that is the first book, so. And that is about the. I don't want to make this too long because I'm going to talk about short about these stories. And some film stories I'm not really that familiar with, but I know it had to be used one of my favorites. So the next one is Heaven, Texas. Heaven, Texas is about Gracie Snow and Bobby Tam. Bobby Tam was a quarterback, and FYI, most football players in this series are quarterbacks, so just so you know. And Gracie Snow. Gracie Snow is a film assistant. She's assistant from somebody in the film set, and one task she got from her boss is bring Bobby Tom to a certain location to start film because Bobby Tom agreed to play along in a movie. I think he's one of the leads in that movie. So Gracie's not had the job to bring him to that location. But how it starts, this is not the easiest task because Bobby Tom is a difficult character. He does some tricks and schemes to make sure that Gracie doesn't get them to the certain location. It does happen. I think it takes like 2 to 3 chapters to have to get now I already forget the name, to get Bobby Tom to the film set, but it works out, and then you get more depth about Bobby's family because the film where they are filming is also his birth city, anyway, the city where he grew up, and you learn more about his mother. You learn more about what happened to his father, and just how now that Bobby Tom became a successful person, how the other people in his town are reacting to him. So you get more, and of course it's going to be a love story. So you see how Gracie and Bobby Tom comes together, and I think this was more more comical books. It's really comical because Bobby Tom's character and Gracie's character doesn't really match. Well, they're not even like the ideal match in the love story, but it just works out. So that was Heaven, Texas. The third one was Nobody's Baby But Mine. The first book I read of this series. It follows the story of Jane Darlington and Carl Boner. So Jane Darlington, it starts out that she just turned 34, she's excited and she really wants a baby, but she doesn't really want a man. So it already starts really funny. It draws me, that alone draw me to the book. So she wants to find somebody to have a baby, but she doesn't want to do it through a sperm bank. She just wants to do it naturally. I will say naturally. So, but because she's really smart, she doesn't want her baby to be really smart because she had really not awful, but she doesn't really have a good childhood. So she wants somebody of the mate of the father of her child to be somebody with a low IQ, and that is how she came upon Carl Boner. Carl Boner is also a quarterback. Yeah, he's also a quarterback, and he was at the time around her town or around the place celebrating something, and through schemes, not schemes, but through Jane Darling got the plan to have Carl Boner have sex with her. So the first time she didn't get pregnant, second time she did get pregnant, but Carl Boner found out. He was pissed as hell as I read the book, and he came with the plan they should get married because he didn't want to have a bastard. So they got married. They're now living in a house of Carl Boner, and you will see how they grow together. And I don't want to tell too much about these stories, but I will say, if you really, of all the series, Nobody's Baby Mine is the favorite. But as I said, those two also are not two matches that really blend well, but still in the story. And this is how good Susan Elizabeth Phillips is. They make two characters that doesn't really go together, a scientist and a football player, but in her book she made them like the perfect couple. So, on to the next one. The next one is the fourth book, Dream a Little Dream. And Dream a Little Dream is kind of not in the series and kind of is, because of all the Chicago Star series, all the main character has something to do with the Chicago Stars, but this one, Dream a Little Dream, doesn't. Dream a Little Dream is about the brother of Carl Bauer. So Carl Bauer is from the third book, Nobody's Baby But Mine, and Gabe Byrne has been mentioned there because Gabe Byrne isn't really in fact in the story, but he gets mentioned a lot because he lost his son and his wife in a car accident, I think, but in an accident. And Dream a Little Dream is about how he copes with the loss, and he gets to know another woman, and her name is Rachel Stone, and her son. And in that book, Rachel Stone is a wife of a really well-known priest, but he had a really high-known priest, but that priest was also a scammer, and he was also much older than Rachel, but he died in the story. So because his scam has been found out, she lost I think everything, money, the house, I think everything. So she's now really she's homeless. So I think she came, I think Gabe and Rachel incidentally, you know, it's not really incidentally, but anyway, accidentally meet. Oh no, Gabe accidentally meet her son, and then he met Rachel. But anyway, this was also one of my favorite books because you will see how tough Rachel is a tough woman. She can handle a lot. She doesn't break down. She's just a tough cookie, and you see how Rachel softened Gabe, and you see the relationship between Gabe and Rachel's son. I just forgot how Rachel's son is called. I know he's called Chip, but his actual name I just forgot. But that was Dream a Little Dream, the fourth one. The next one is, I think after the fourth book, I think it's a bit blurry because I haven't read these books in a while, but I will, This Heart of Mine. Molly Somerville and Kevin Tucker. Alright, okay. Molly Somerville, if you remember, Somerville, if you remember, that last name is from the first book that is about Phoebe Somerville. Molly Somerville is the sister of Phoebe, and yes, she's also really in the story of the first book, but now in this book, This Heart of Mine, she's the main character. So Phoebe Somerville is in this book a writer. Yes, she's a writer. Her father left her a really big amount of money, $50 million, and she gave it all away. She lived in an humble apartment, and times that she will visit her sister and her kids. And she came across Kevin Tucker, and Kevin Tucker is a character you will meet in the fourth book of Nobody's Baby But Mine, but now he's also the lead in this one. And Molly has always had a crush on him, and then I think they were in a summer house, and they had a one-night stand, and of that one-night stand she got pregnant. And when she got pregnant, she didn't say to her sister who the father was. She wanted to keep that secret and raise the kid alone. But Phoebe kind of found out who it was, and then then force them to marry, and then after that, it's a kind of a tragic story in that story, but Susan Elizabeth films happy ending. So I'm going to the next one. Is the sixth one is Match Me If You Can. I read this book one time. I have to read it again. This was also a good one. They are all good ones, but Match Me If You Can is about Heath Champion. Heath Champion is not a football player, but he is the manager of Kevin Tucker, and then you know who Kevin Tucker is by now. And it's about Kevin Tucker, Heath Champion, and Annabelle Granger. Annabelle Granger is a woman who has multiple jobs, and she got fired of the jobs, and now she lives in a humble home, and she's now a matchmaker. Her grandmother was a matchmaker, and she decided to take up that job. So, as I said, this story I have read this book one time, and she really good, but I don't remember how they met. I know that Annabelle Granger knows Phoebe something. I think maybe that was the connection, so that she met Heath Champion. But as much I want to tell you more, I really don't remember. I'm going to read it. Maybe if you just comment in the comment section, and you have some question, I will maybe answer it for you. But I really don't remember the story, but it was a good one. And then the last one, A Natural Born Charmer. I will say this was my least favorite, because for me, I like a certain happy ending, and this book doesn't give me a certain happy ending, and that's why I didn't like this one that much. But as of the story and the characters, that was good. And this is a story about Dean Robillard and Blue Bailey. I don't remember this one also, because I haven't come back to this book, because as I said, it didn't give me a certain happy ending, and there is a happy ending. I will say that there is a happy ending, but it doesn't give me my certain happy ending that I wanted. So I usually go for book 1 to 4. I usually don't read 5, 6 or 7, but I hope I gave you enough information. It's been a long video, but you know, it's been 8 books, so I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.